Hello, my friends. Hello, it's Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. So happy you're here. And folks, it is back, and I am excited about this. My good friend here in the music, vinyl, YouTube community, whatever you want to call it, he's a great, great friend. Schnee is back with the Holy Trinity Challenge, and I am excited about this because I love when he does this thread. I want to jump right on board. Now, Steve basically has a couple of small rules. You pick an artist. That artist has to have at least 5 studio albums out or released. And you have to, if you were sharing that artist with another individual, what would be 3 albums of theirs that came out in succession in a row that you would recommend to a fellow music lover? Very simple challenge. Of course, I can't stick to just one or a couple of artists. I'm doing a bunch here, but I'll do it as quickly as I can. I will put the link below to Steven's channel, so please go there, participate in this challenge, if you will, by submitting a video to Steven or a comment or list yours, whatever you want to do. But get over to his channel, subscribe to it, say hello from Matthew Street. I love Steven. Good friend here. So let's go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of dedications as I do this. If I have an artist that I'm kind of dedicating to somebody that's important to me in my life or whatever. And the first one is going to be Mrs. Street. I love Mrs. Street, obviously. One of my favorite, if not my favorite person in the whole world. And she's not a big music fanatic like I am. However, she does have her little favorites here and there that she's loved over the years. And one of them that goes way back to when we first started going out seriously and getting engaged was Loverboy. So if I was going to dedicate or recommend 3 Loverboy albums to people, it would be the first one, Loverboy, self-titled, 1980. I would then go to Get Lucky from 1981, their second album. And then I would go to Keep It Up, their third album in 1983. Not much on the back of that one. Okay, so that's it for Loverboy. Now, another band that I really love personally, I don't talk about too much, is Sweet, or The Sweet, but known as Sweet. Now, I love this band. Glam rock mixed with some power pop and 70s rock, but they're kind of in that glam category from the 70s. They have a ton of great albums. It was so hard for me. I wanted to try to include the album that has Love Is Like Oxygen on it because I love that song, one of my favorite Sweet songs. But I went a little different direction because I couldn't quite get the 3 in a row that I wanted. So for Sweet, I went with Sweet Fanny Adams from 1974. I then went with Desolation Boulevard from 1975. Great albums. Oh. And finally, from 1976, I went with Give Us a Wink. Great album. Try to cut down on the glare for you. Okay. Now, let's move it to another band. Let's do a real common one, okay? Van Halen. I love Van Halen, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm partial to the David Lee Roth years, although I do enjoy the Sammy Hagar years. But David Lee is my favorite. Sorry. But I got to go back, for me being that high school teenager. Van Halen, 1978. Van Halen 2, 1979. And what could be, although those first 2 are classic, my favorite Van Halen album, Women and Children First from 1980. And I dedicate this Van Halen trilogy to my friend Chris A., who was my roommate in the Air Force overseas in England, and he really got me into Van Halen. I had been into them, but he really pushed it. And this was an album we loved together. So that's dedicated to Chris. All right, the next one I want to dedicate to another one of my little buddies here in the vinyl, I wouldn't call it music community here in YouTube, and that would be Jeff over at the Calico Silver channel. Go check out Jeff, Calico Silver. I'll probably put the link to his channel below as well because I love Jeff. Great channel. He's got such a good way about him. I love it. And anyway, Jeff loves so many things. Bob Dylan is his big number 1 and all that stuff. But I'm going to go with, he's a big Todd Rundgren fan. So I'm going to go, to dedicate this to Jeff, I'm going to go with Utopia, which Todd Rundgren founded and is a big part of, but it's one of my favorite bands. I love Utopia. I saw them recently on the reunion tour. I am so excited about Utopia. So let's go with my trilogy of Utopia albums for Jeff at Calico Silver. Oops, Wrong Planet from 1977. Love it. Let's go with Adventures in Utopia from 1979. And finally, Deface the Music from 1980, which was, if you're a Beatles fan, you got to get this. Okay? Well, there's my Utopia one. Let's do the Smithereens, one of my favorite power pop bands of all time, from New Jersey. I've seen them live so many times. I love the Smithereens. Pat Denizio, rest in peace. I've met Pat on several occasions. He was always so nice to me. So I want to go with the Smithereens, and I want to go with 1986's Especially for You. I want to go with 1988's Green Thoughts. And finally, 1989, 11. Okay. All right, we got to get moving here. Let's go with some a dedication to my dad. All right, Mr. Street, you've met him here on my channel several times. He's 92 years old. He's doing okay, hanging in there. But to get him down here for videos anymore, it's very difficult. I'll try to do another video with him in the future. But my dad, for being in his late 30s in 1969, got into the band Chicago big time. Big time. He loves Chicago. Chicago Transit Authority, their first album from 1969. This is my dad's original. I have it. I love it. He got me into Chicago. That's the first one. Chicago 2 from 1970, another one of my dad's albums. Here it is. Love it. Thank you, Dad. He loved Chicago so much. He just, for being that age, he was so into them, and he bought a lot of their albums in those early period of Chicago. And Chicago 3, 1971. Thank you, Dad. This dedication is to you. That's my Chicago Holy Trinity. All right. I have to do a Holy Trinity for this band. Social Distortion. I love Social Distortion. I'm going to go with on Social D here. We got, let me see, did I write the years down? I want to make sure if I did that I tell you the proper years for these albums. Okay, I don't, but I have the first Social Distortion album here. I'm sorry I didn't write down the year. Social Distortion. All right. Then we would go with Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. And third will be Social Distortion, White Heat, White Light, White Heat, White Trash. So that will be my Holy Trinity of Social Distortion albums I recommend. All right, let's do some Power Age, AC/DC, one of my favorite bands of all time. And we're going to go with Power Age from 1978 to start it. We're going to go to Highway to Hell from 1979 as a second in the trilogy. And the big one, Back in Black from 1980. Got to do it. Okay, let's go with another band from New Jersey that I happen to love very much. And this is the Gripweeds. The Gripweeds. Okay. And again, on years on this, I could be off. They're all fairly recent, 2000s. So I'm not going to be able to do years for you. I didn't write them down here. But the Gripweeds, The Sound Is You. The Sound Is In You. Yeah, The Sound Is In You. One of my favorite Gripweeds albums. Giant on the Beach. And finally, one of my favorite Gripweeds albums. I love so many of their albums. Gripweeds' Strange Change Machine. And again, these albums were all in the last 15 years or so in the 2000s. I apologize I don't have the years for you, but there's my Gripweeds trilogy. Real quick common one, Boston. Boy, the first three albums, why don't I just say it, okay? Boston from 76. Don't Look Back from 78, and Third Stage from 86. After that, I won't say. I don't want to put anyone down here. But Tom Scholz, what happened, man? Okay, that's all I'll say about that. All right, let's go with another one of my favorite bands from the 70s, Electric Light Orchestra. I'm going to go with El Dorado from 1974. I'm going to go with Face the Music from 1975. And I'm going to go with a New World Record from 1976. All right. I'm trying to go here, folks. I'm sorry. Here I go. Only a few left. One of my favorite singer-songwriters of all time, Mr. John Denver. John Denver, Airy from 1971. Rocky Mountain High from 1972. And finally, a really sleeper, an album that's not one of his most famous, but I love it. I think it's fabulous. Check it out. John Denver, Farewell Andromeda from 1973. Absolutely great album. All right, got to get one of my favorites in here. Marshall Crenshaw. Let's go with the self-titled from 82, Marshall Crenshaw. Let's go with Field Day from 1983, his second album. If I didn't show the back of this one, there you go. And the sleeper in this bunch, his third album from 1985, Downtown. Fabulous, fabulous album. Produced by T-Bone Burnett. I mean, it's just unbelievably great. And it doesn't get a lot of attention. And I think last but not least, one more, and then I'm done, folks. I'm out of here. Okay, The Babies. Self-titled, The Babies from 1976. Broken Heart from 1977. And last, one of my favorite Babies albums of all time, Head First from 1978 coming into 1979. Very late in 78. That's it, folks. That's all a bunch of Holy Trinities. I wanted to do something different. No Beatles, no solo Beatles, no, big guns, so to speak. So that's it. Thank you, Stephen. I'm out of here, folks. Holy Trinity Challenge. It's a lot of fun. Links will be below. Take care. Bye-bye.